inyong lahat. Nico Halili kasama si Birthday Boy, Coach Norman Black, along with Peter Martin for tonight's coverage.
Thank you very much, Nico. And we should have a very exciting game here. We have two of the high-scoring teams in the PBA.
Pocket Dex entered the ball game with 7 wins and just 1 loss. Samantalang itong Red Bull Barako, may kartada po na 3 wins and 5 losses.
Well, there was a grab by Agapito, so that's going to be a side throw for Pocket Tech. Pocket Tech, the number 2 leading scoring team in the league. Red Bull, the number 3 leading scoring team in the league. So expect some fireworks here.
We have a lot of subplots in this game as Yancy Leocapo takes an 4-0 ball game in favor of the PhonePals. By the way, yung ating mga officials, ang ating crew chief, si Augusto Oji Ramos, along with Art Herrera and guard chief Sarel.
Rico was called for traveling as he dragged his pivot foot. And we have pivoting coming up pretty soon in Burlington Basketball 101. We'll be discussing the correct pivoting moves in the game of basketball.
And the shoot para sa Pocket Dex, and Mark Allan scoots in for that under goal stab. Allan is averaging 6 points per game for the PhonePals.
Well, Nico, everybody's talking about the depth of the Pocket Tech team without Asi and them not having very many big guys, but let's face it, Victor Pablo, Yancy Leocapo, and Mark Allan have all stepped up and are all producing big numbers here in this conference.
There was a shot block there by Yancy Leocapo. He averages 1 shot block per game. 6 to shoot para sa Red Bull. Hindi pa sila nakakapuntos. That's another block, this time by Telat. And here's the Mighty Mouse, Jimmy Alapag against Denver Lopez. And Alapag a bit out of control there. And Oji Ramos spots the foul against the Red Bull defense.
Well, you're correct. Alapag could have easily been called for traveling there, but he's going to get 2 shots out of it. So his aggressiveness will pay off.
Si Denver Lopez ang tinawagan ng foul, kanyang unang personal foul. At yan po ang pangalawa laban sa Red Bull Barako. And this will send Jimmy Alapag to the strike. It's been almost a year since that day na natamaan itong si Jimmy Alapag ng yung tinatawag na clothesline. Ano? Tinamaan siya ni Jimwell Torion, who has yet to check in this game. It's one of the many subplots of tonight's ball game. And dumugo yung ilong ni Alapag sa laro na yun, and later on needed surgery. Pero naglaban na sila ni Jimwell Torion this season, and looks like they put the task behind them.
They really don't have a choice. Otherwise, the commissioner will be calling them into the office. Red Bull off to a very slow start here. They have not scored yet.
Tugade, he was clipped on the arm. You know, we never had a chance to go over the starting lineups para sa Red Bull. Nakapula po sila. Dyan po si Lordy Tugade, who is about to take free throws, along with Denver Lopez, who's starting for the 2nd straight game. Ang ating slam dunk king, Cyrus Baguio. The Raging Bull, Rico Villanueva, and 6'6" journeyman, Oliver Agapito.
Rico has taken over the name of the Bull. Nelson Asaitono.
As you would say, Musbata.
That's correct. Tita Gotti's been having a great conference so far, averaging over 16 points a game.
He was named the best player of the game against Turbo Chargers. And, I mean, really, it's Villanueva and Tugade. So consistent and so powerful here for Red Bull in this conference. Here's Leocapo. There's the drop step. Another drop step. There's a block by Villanueva. Mark Allan working hard inside.
Here's another player who has really produced so far in this conference, Mark Allan. Actually playing the power forward position. See Yancy, good pivoting there to get that shot off. Good up and under move. And this is just raw strength there that Mark Allan uses. And that's actually been how you can say Mark Allan's game has matured. He used to be more of a perimeter player. And now he's developed more into a post-up player and a dominant inside player for the Talking Tech team.
You could say he has gone back to his roots as a big man.
Yeah.
You know, he played center for the De La Salle Green Archers. In fact, he won the UAAP NCP as a center in 1996 and 1997. 10-2 ang ating score. 8 points ang lamang ng Talking Tech PhonePals. Lopez. And out to Villanueva. Another block there registered by the Talking Tech defense.
So Enrico not jumping upwardly, jumping forward, and he's getting his shot blocked. Well, Allan stands about 6'6". Yancey must be close to 6'8". Those are two pretty tall guys underneath the basket for Talking Tech.
5 to shoot here. Kailangan na magmadali ng Red Bull. 2 to shoot. Bola na kay Baguio. Pull up is no good. Pablo with the rebound. Quickly to Alapag. Alapag. Oh, and Pablo with the ball. That's been called for traveling there, and he tries to save the ball, and it ends up with Denver Lopez. Over to Villanueva. Villanueva over to Tugade. Tugade gets no! I thought he would get the layup, and the ball is batted out. And what a wild sequence there para sa dalawang kupunan.
Very wild. Uncharacteristically, Tugade missed that layup. You're right. Alapag should have been called for traveling on that last play.
And the PhonePals call a 30-second timeout with 9:03 to go in the opening quarter. Sila po ang namamayani dito sa mga unang bahagi ng ating ball game, 10-2. And here's that sequence. Very out of character. Alapag bobbled the basketball. Miller could not control it. And then Telan tries to save it. And then Lopez dives for the ball. And then he flips it over to Villanueva. Villanueva passes to Tugade. This should have been an easy 2. Pero kapos yung layup ni Tugade, and then the ball is batted out by Villanueva. Last touch on Red Bull. Lots of action.
Well done, Nico.
No points.
Well done.
So how does it feel to be a year younger?
I feel good. I feel good. I'm not that old yet.
I will really try to stop myself from revealing your age.
Please do, Miko.
I'm really stopping myself. In the meantime, yung ating game story, ito po yan, ano? Inside, outside, I mean, yung babantayan natin yung mangyayari sa loob. Andyan yung matchup, Pablo versus Villanueva. And then babantayan din natin yung nangyayari sa labas. Specifically, Jimmy Alapag against Jimwell Torion.
Well, you can see some stats there on your screen right now, and Torion averaging 11 points per game, Alapag 14. So that's a pretty good matchup there. Actually, Pablo's being guarded by Tugade right now. It's a small forward position, but you can see Pablo and Enrico both averaging over 16 points so far in the PBA. Quick shot by Willie Miller.
There's a push there by, should be against De Ocampo. Yan ang kanyang unang personal foul. Yan po ang pangatlo laban sa Talking Tech PhonePals. Ang Red Bull po meron ng 4 na team foul. Itong Red Bull galing po sa panalo. Pinalo po ang Shell 94-90. Samantalang ang Talking Tech naman galing din sa panalo. Tinalo ang FedEx 103-93.
Field goal so far. Red Bull without a single field goal in this game. That's the first one for them. Talking Tech 4 out of 5.
Allan trying to hand off to De Ocampo. Red Bull down by 6. Here's Cyrus Baguio. Babalik kay Lopez. And back to Baguio.
Yeah.
There must be a reason why Lopez is starting for the second straight game. Alam naman natin malupit magbalasa ng starting lineup itong si Coach Yeng Giao. In the meantime, here's Pablo. Kick out Miller. Miller fires from the right side. Can't get the bounce. Tip in. Wala pa rin. And that has been one thing that is keeping Talking Tech at the top of the standings despite the absence of Angelo Lava.
That's right. They are a good rebounding team, but that time Agapito got caught trying to challenge an outside shot, leaving Enrico underneath to battle for the rebound. There's Enrico. Good move.
Enrico connecting on his last 2 field goals. And he slices down. The PhonePals lead to just 3, 12-9. Bola na kay Miller. Up against Baguio. Bola na kay Alapag. Alapag for 3, offline. Sabi ni Baguio, tama na yan. He got the rebound. Baguio nagmamadali, got the pass, side step, all the way. No! Red Bull has had those easy layups, pero he refused to drop. And here's Villanueva. Tapos yung kanyang hook shot. He gets his own miss. Good hustle there by the big man. Yung shot clock by Red Bull, but Tugade doesn't care. And he goes strong to the hoop, but may foul.
Well, you have to give this Red Bull team credit. They may be a little bit smaller than Talking Tech, but they're continuing to attack the basket.
Well, this is a game between two very good rebounding teams. You have Red Bull, the #1 rebounding team. And they're also good at getting offensive rebounds. They get an average of 18 offensive rebounds per ball game.
And people will say that, of course, they had Harp and Hennessy, but no, they've done a lot of that without Harp and Hennessy.
A lot of people thought the minute Harp and Hennessy left, that they wouldn't be able to hold on to that #1 spot in the rebounding department, but they have.
They have. It's been quite a while now since the two guys have played for Red Bull, so I think that's just the way it's going to be here in this conference, despite the fact they're a lot smaller team now. The guards rebound a lot to go along with Enrico, who puts up a lot of rebounds for the team.
There's a foul. Happened kay Pablo when they were scrambling for the missed free throw. Third personal against Big Pablo. Napakaaga pa.
And if there is a question mark with this Talking Tech team, it is their depth up front. After Yancey, then you have Mark Talan and Big Pablo. They're a little bit thin as far as their big men are concerned. Remember, Hobby Carey is still out with an injury. He probably would have helped him a lot. For some reason, Villa left at the beginning of this year.
Yes.
Not sure why.
Miller, the Patrick Frank, kakapasok lang sa ating ball game, and he gets the layup. Frank came in for Jimmy Alapag. Mark Talan is also sitting down, and the veteran who small forward and big guard, Bong Ravena, is in the game for Talking Tech. 4 points ang abante ng PhonePals to Gade 4-3. Ocampo snares the rebound here for Talking Tech. Yancey with 3 rebounds tonight. Over 6 minutes to go in the opening period. Agapito against Pablo. Pablo using his speed, but he gets hammered down low, and here's Lopez. Over to Villanueva. Trying to muscle his way through. But the Talking Tech big men holding their ground. Ravena on the right side. Less than 10 seconds to shoot. Bola na kay Miller. Miller umihit. Sneaks inside. Wala.
There's a lot of dribbling going on by both teams and a lot of forced shots being taken. Shot selection has not been the greatest so far in this game. Foul on Bong Ravena.
So pumasok na po sa penalty ang Talking Tech PhonePals with 5.5 minutes to go. In the meantime, Lordy Tugade was on the strike, and he made 2 free throws to make it a 2-point game in favor of Talking Tech under 6 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Ocampo against Villanueva. Wala. Villanueva with another rebound. Tatakbo dito ang Red Bull. Baguio lost that ball.
A bad decision there by Baguio trying to force the action in the 1-on-3.
Si Allan Salangsang kakapasok lang sa ating ball game. Pinalitan si Vic Pablo, who is now nursing 3 fouls. Milano is also in the game. At pinalitan niya si Willie Miller.
The PBA players, they really have to move their feet now defensively. They cannot use their hands. The referees will call it immediately.
Pumasok yung tipin. Yan si Ocampo. Tanging siya na lamang ang natitira mula sa starting lineup ni Joel Banal.
Well, Yancey Ocampo looked all of his 6'8", 6'9" frame in this game and getting off just about any shot he wants inside the paint.
Then to shoot para sa Red Bull. They're down by 4 points. Villanueva, long try. 6.4 rebounds here in the opening quarter for Rico Villanueva. Pero lamang pa rin ang PhonePals, 16-14. De Ocampo, bounce pass, Salangsang, blocked by Villanueva. Bola na sa pocket text pa rin. Belano says, let me do this. Turning around, and he scores.
Small guys are getting into the action as far as getting into the paint, penetrating, getting to the hoop.
Defensive rebound there by Tugade. Blocked from behind. And here's Fran over to Belano. Belano on the move. Steps on the break. Outside to Fran. Fran on the right side. PhonePals up by 4 points here. And once again they go to Yankee De Ocampo. And you are right. In this game, he is imposing. He is towering over the smaller front line of Red Bull. Red Bull down by 6. After 10 seconds to shoot. Bola na kay Baguio. As we near the 3-minute mark of the opening quarter. It's one thing that hasn't changed sa laro ng Red Bull. You're nifty passing in the shade of things.
Yes, we call it interior passing, and they've always been very good at that. And it's a beauty to watch whenever you can execute that. Be so close to your teammate but still be able to get off a soft pass for a shot. Remember the old Alaska teams used to be great at that.
Tugade is on the line. In the meantime, marami nagtatanong, paano ba nanalo ang Tokyo 6? Wala yung Asitaulaban, yet they're atop the team standings with 7 wins and 1 loss. Baka may kasagutan dyan si Peter Martin. Peter?
Thank you, Nico. Ang nakausap ko nga si Coach Ariel Vanguardia, and he quoted me, and I quote him, he said that, why have they been so successful without Asitaulava? One reason is because no one has figured them out yet. Yun yung unang rason niya. Yung pangalawa, they don't only play hard, they also pray hard. And the third one is that Vic Pablo is playing very well. He's getting better with age, just like our birthday boy, Norman Black. Thanks again for the sushi. Back to you guys.
Wala nga naman.
Peter just had to say that. Yes. So, he finished the California Maki. Left nothing for anyone.
I wouldn't go as far as to say the other teams haven't figured them out, but they do a lot of things well. I mean, they shoot the ball pretty well. They don't turn the basketball over. Talking Tech team, they're executing quite well offensively and defensively. They have confidence, in other words. They're playing with a lot of confidence.
It's easier to be confident when you're carrying a 7-win and 1-loss record. Jimwell Torion has checked in the game. He even made his first field goal attempt. Pero lamang pa rin stays with the Red Bull. They're down by 6 points. Tugade misses from the corner.
Tugade's been having a tough time shooting the basketball, particularly close to the basket. As Yancy De Ocampo has gotten a rest, and Don Camaso's in the game for Talking Tech.
Here's Torion. Dapat kay Belano. Torion. Pasa kay Villanueva. Yes.
Tell me how Jimwell was able to see Enrico among all the trees that were there in the lane area.
Probably the fastest Tora he can find. Here's Camaso. Long try. No go. Allan does not control the basketball, and he'll be called for last touch. Sa unang pagkakataon, papasok po si Junti the Hitman Valenzuela. And he'll be replacing Lordi Tugade with 1 minute and 17 to go. This is the first quarter.
We should inform the PBA fans that Verhelm, in essence, is still hurt and will not play in this game as Torion goes all the way to the basket. And whether it be good or whether it be bad, something's going to happen whenever Torion comes on the floor.
One thing you can't call Torion is resilience. When we talk about resiliency, in 2000, he was involved in that horrible car accident. Talagang naapektuhan yung mukha niya doon. Survived from that. And then before the start of the 2003 season, it was involved in a fight with Baldomin in a tune-up game. And then in that same season, he failed the drug test. And then he came back. And then in that same season, he hit Alapag with a clothesline just about a year ago. And then he came back from that. He was reinstated 5 months earlier than expected. And then in the finals of the Fiesta Conference, he hit Tory Bragg on the nape. And now he's back from that. As Belano hits the layup.
Ang kaibigan ni Commissioner Noli Ayala, si Jimwell Torion.
They see each other often.
He knows the office quite well.
Oh, yeah. Robinson inside. Rodriguez. Nice looking hook shot pero sumobra. Ravena with the rebound. 4-point lead for the PhonePals habang nauubos na ang oras dito sa opening quarter. Allan, cross court. Ravena. He'll take this and he'll make it.
We know Bong Ravena can make that shot, but that was a quick release there in the corner.
You know, that is Bong Ravena's second three-pointer out of 20 attempts in this conference. Only a second three-pointer.
That's not a very good percentage. Mababa talaga.
In the meantime, Don Camaso was called for the foul. At si Jovito Sese ay tutungo sa free throw line.
Joey Sese was able to get back into the PBA with the absence of Devon Harp in Tennessee. And this is the first foul shot.
One more free throw for Jovito Sese. And Fran gets the basketball for the PhonePals. Here's Fran, fake. Fran goes inside, blocked. Ball ends up with Rodriguez. Tatakbo ang Red Bull. 1 second to go. Robinson was able to launch a desperation heave. We're listening to Rachel Valenzuela hit the jumper. Looks like Marcel Ruby called for that foul. Second personal laban kay Allan. Yan po ang unang team foul ng second quarter. At muli po sa free throw line si Jovito Sese. Sese had 2 points and 2 rebounds. Laban to Shell at won their last game. His conference high is 7 points. Up for Pop Cola. Dito naman sa NBA, he played for the Laguna Lakers and the Pasig Pirates. Willie Miller is back in the game. Sese is added to this team. Tapos nawala sa lineup ni Engiao, si Devon Harp and Mick Denise. The PhonePals have Alapag, Miller, Don Belbelano, Don Camaso, and Mark Clemens Talan on the hard court. Miller laban kay Robinson. That's an Olongapo matchup right there as Torion gets the leather. Torion on the move. Side step ala Iverson. No go. Belano gets the ball for a talk and text. Counter attack by the PhonePals. Belano, no look. Camaso on the way.
First quarter field goals. Red Bull 24%. Talking Tech 46. Talking Tech getting a better percentage from the field. What a shot there.
Almost but not quite para kay Lucy Valenzuela. Alapag to Camaso. Camaso hit a slam dunk earlier and he is fouled. He'll take 2. First personal laban kay Jovito Sese. And here's that slam dunk. Belano to Camaso all the way. Don Camaso, no doubt, experiencing a rebirth with the Talk and Text PhonePals. Kasi nung nandun po siya sa Alaska Aces, he felt like the lost man on offense. There are games wherein he wouldn't play at all. But with the PhonePals, yung team na pinanggalingan niya bago siya pupunta sa Alaska, getting more playing time this year, most definitely. Rodriguez, handoff for Torion. Torion on the move. They're very strict about that hand check and holding foul.
And I think it's up to the players to really adjust to that, because they're definitely going to stay that way for the rest of the conference. And actually what it does is it just allows the perimeter players more movement towards the basket, speeds up the game. Gives a little bit of an advantage to the slashers, the guys who like to drive to the hoop.
Points in the paint, oh my goodness. Red Bull only 2 points. Talk and Text with 20 big points in this shaded lane.
Wow. A locking advantage there for Talk and Text.
Over 2 minutes have elapsed here in the second quarter. Miller shooting over Robinson. That didn't work. Ball stays with Talk and Text. However, Miller, sinabayan na doon ni Rodriguez. And now, finally, Red Bull gets the ball. Robinson to Valenzuela, who slows down, and he gets it off the glass. 5 points pa rin ang lamang ng Talk and Text. Bola na kay Alapag. Allan. He'll shoot this. Top of the key. High looper. Every time Torion is on the hard court, parang bumibilis yung takbo ng opensa ng Red Bull. But that time, Bernardo lost control, lost his footing, and lost the ball.
I'm sure Coach Shangow sometimes wishes Jimwell would just calm down a little bit. A little bit out of control also on that play.
Allan really has to protect the ball with his entire body, especially with Omanzi Rodriguez in his face.
Mark Allan around the basket is almost a sure 2 points now. Certainly has improved his inside game.
And Valenzuela had nowhere to go, partly because of the defense of Mark Allan.
Well, they will allow you that bunny hop, but you must go up for the shot immediately. You can't take that bunny hop and then just pause, because they will call you for traveling.
Patrick Fran is back in the game. Si Don Belbalano is back on the bench. 33-26. Ito ang abante ng PhonePals. Alapag has the ball. There's a switch there. Camaso's being guarded by Jimwell Torion. But the PhonePals go to Telan up against Bernardo. 5 to shoot. Fall away. Wala. And Camaso struggling to get that basketball against 3 Red Bull big men.
And you could see that was going to happen because Jimwell Torion was actually stuck underneath the basket with Don Camaso. He tried his best to box him out, but it's malacking towel si Don Camaso. What a shot.
Another loose ball foul here called against Red Bull. It's going to be against Bernardo. Kanyang pangalawa. At yan na po ang pang-apat na team foul laban sa Red Bull. Mahigit 8 minuto pa ang natitira dito sa first half. Miller aggressively posting up to offense Robinson. Miller has yet to score here, and he commits an offensive foul. Miller getting frustrated here. 0 out of 6 from the field.
Well, former teammates last year. These two guys have gone up against each other in practice. Oh, that's a offensive foul there. He stepped on top of him afterwards.
7 points. Yan ang gustong burahin ng Red Bull Barako. Yan ang lamang ng Talk and Text. Bernardo jumps without the basketball. It will stay with Red Bull. And they will have 10 seconds to shoot.
Well, it would be hard for me to believe that Bernardo is going to be the first option for Red Bull offensively.
Valenzuela on the move. Got the pass, and he gets the layup. You know, Red Bull is also #1 in assists in the PBA.
Yes, they do play as a team, and despite the fact Talking Tech has controlled the first half, as Alapag makes this three-pointer, the Red Bull has been hanging at their coattails the entire first half here.
Alapag makes it an 8-point game, 36-28 as we approach the 7-minute mark of the second quarter. Valenzuela, gusto iwanan si Fran. Tumira, there's a whistle. Darcy Ferrer spots the foul. It will be against Fran.
June T is one of those players that has a good in-between game, and what I mean by that is there are a lot of players who take three-pointers or either drive straight to the basket. June T has a good 15 to 16-foot range game, and he has the ability to shoot over his opposing players.
He's trying to bounce back from a lethargic game against Shell, wherein he only scored 2 points. He was 1 out of 7 from the floor. And you know he can do better than that. He's averaging 13 points and 5 rebounds, 4 assists per game. What's also bugging Junti is his problems from Rainbow Country. He's normally a reliable three-point shooter, but in this conference, he's only shooting 3 out of 13 from beyond the arc. Nevertheless, he cuts down the PhonePals lead to just 6 points. With under 7 minutes to go in the first half, Alapag misses the three-pointer. Did I say that when Torion is on the floor, he really wants to push the ball?
Yes, he did, probably.
Robinson inside. At ito na si Alapag. Alapag has Telan on the right side. Bounce pass, Telan. Had to be creative there, and he got through the long arms of Rodriguez.
By switching it from his right to his left hand to get that shot off.
11 points para kay Mark Telan. Balik sa 8 ang abante ng Talking Tech. Valenzuela, turn around, top shot there. Rebound nakuha ni Miller. And there's a foul in the backcourt. It will be against Robinson.
That's actually a good foul, as Jimmy Alapag would have had a wide open layup on the other end. And you can almost feel the Talking Tech team starting to pick up the intensity as Jimmy Alapag on the break. Watch this play here as Mark Telan's going to be sitting on air for a second. Goes to his left hand to get that shot off.
The old switcheroo. As Alapag slows things down, we're going to hit the 6-minute mark of the second quarter, and Allan Salangsang misses on the three-point attempt. Valenzuela against Fran. Cross court, Torion, fake. Can't shoot, bibigay kay Bernardo. By the way, Villanueva is back in the game. 9 on the shot clock. Miller ang tatawagan ng foul. That's going to be his third. Pareho na sila ni Big Pablo with 3 personal fouls.
Right.
5 minutes and 41 seconds to go in the second quarter. Torion to Tugade. Tugade goes baseline. Aring na ilang sa depensa niya si Deo Campo. Torion pass sa loob. A tight pass there, stolen eventually by Patrick Fran. Alapag dancing in a shaded lane. Pinasa kay Deo Campo. He almost got the reverse. One more try and it goes in.
And Yancy Del Campo tonight, he's just too big for everybody on the basketball court.
Ito na po ang pinakamalaking lamang ng Talking Tech PhonePals, a 10-point lead. But quickly, Red Bull trims it down to single digits anew. They credit the basket to Lordy Tugade. He now has 8.
There he is again. So it's really been Del Campo and Mark Telan who have done the majority of the damage here for Talking Tech here in the first half.
10 points para kay Yancy Deo Campo. At balik sa 10 ang kalamangan ng Talking Tech PhonePals. Nino Gellig is in the game for the first time. And last touch on Red Bull.
Take a look at the defense of Talking Tech. They're really forcing the wingmen of Red Bull to the baseline. to the sideline and to the baseline. They're trying to keep them out of the middle as much as possible. And that's really a philosophy of the coach there. And some coaches believe you can just play straight up. Others believe you can allow your guys to go down the middle and get help. And some coaches believe in forcing the offensive players either to the sideline or to the baseline.
Agapito falls down, and when he stood up, he fouled De Ocampo. And Yancy has been unstoppable here in the second period. Second personal laban kay Agapito.
De Ocampo has 10 points in the game, and it has appeared that he looks unstoppable because he's shooting a very high percentage in this game. Marcelon also has 11 points, so a lot of their points coming probably inside the paint area.
He has scored 5 of his 11 points here in the second period. And I'm sure Joel Banal likes what he sees so far. Yung kanyang kupunan ay namamayani po. Nancy adding 5 rebounds to a total of 12 points in the first half. Torion, iniwan si Alapag. Salangsang gave him the opening, and he pays for it.
A good high screen there by Enrico, and no help defense coming up for the Talking Tech team. At some point, Coach Jangao, which I know he probably doesn't want to do, is going to have to decide whether he's going to throw somebody at De Ocampo, maybe run somebody at him defensively. I mean, you normally don't go into the game, Nico, wanting to double team Yancy De Ocampo. He is hot tonight. Oh, what a shot.
Perhaps one more reason why, despite the absence of Ashita Olava, why Talking Tech is still successful and so many weapons to depend on.
Particularly from the perimeter. Let's face it, the combination of Jimmy Alapag and Willie Miller might be the best guard combination in the league.
What a pass! What a pass! Alapag just fooled everyone. He was looking at someone in the stands and, and just drilled that pass for Allan Salangsang. Villanueva. Pinas sa loob. And Torion passes it to the wrong man. Gelig chases the ball. De Ocampo firing away. Yeah!
And Red Bull is probably the worst team as far as committing turnovers, and Talking Tech is one of the best teams in turning turnovers into turnover points. That's what's happening here deep inside second quarter.
Lumalayo na dito ang Talking Tech. Torion nowhere to go. 5 seconds to shoot para sa Red Bull. Torion firing away. Big break for Red Bull. That offense was going nowhere. 14 po ang abante ng Talking Tech PhonePals. Sila po ang nangunguna sa ating team standings with 7 wins and just 1 loss. And 1 loss coming in the hands of Barangay Ginebra.
No help defense once again, as De Ocampo is just eating up all of the defenders for the Red Bull team. I think Coach Jangao might have to double team him at some point the way he's going right now.
He has scored 10 of his 16 points dito po sa second quarter. Villanueva gustong bumawi. A top shot inside. At si De Ocampo, abay, meron na pong 7 rebounds. So, bad pass there by Gelig. Rookie mistake there. Here's Torion. Torion, 15-footer. No!
You look at the defense of Red Bull, there's very little pressure on the basketball. And Talking Tech, they're doing everything they want at will at this point.
Red Bull gets the steal. Here's Baguio. And he tries to pass to Garchi Ferrer.
Who's the referee?
118. And back to this game. Nogate gets the rebound. Talking Tech, nakalayo po. This is the second quarter behind the hot hand of Yancy De Ocampo. And the errors of Red Bull.
They turnover pop. And that's been the Achilles heel of the Red Bull team here in the first half.
Delano to Salangsang. He'll take the three, and he won't make it. Baguio on the move here. That will be the 15th foul of the PhonePals, with only 19 seconds to go in the second quarter. So no free throws yet to be awarded here to Red Bull, although both teams are now in the penalty.
And a lot to talk about in the halftime break for the Red Bull team. To find a way to cut down their turnovers and also to get back on defense after they commit turnovers and not allow Talking Tech to get a lot of turnover points.
Tugade tries to do a solo act there, and Gelik gets the rebound. 5 seconds to go. Gelik nagmamadali. Gelik still has the ball against former teammate Baguio. Back pass Salangsang. That was a good setup job by
Shot
Gelik.
selections first half for the Red Bull club, and I think they'll have to try to correct that. You mentioned earlier, Sabi Mo kanina, they're number 1 in the league in assists, and that's something they're going to have to utilize here in the second half. Better ball movement, better shot selection. Because we were noting something at halftime, the spacing of Talking Tech was extremely good in the first half. That's why the lane was so open.
You know, you look at this Red Bull team. The number 1 rebounding team, they're number 1 in assists. They can put up the points if they want to. But you get that feeling that they shoot themselves in the foot by turning the ball over too often.
Well, turning the ball over, and when you're number 9 in defense, that also means you're not really getting into it defensively.
Red Bull begins the second half with Junti Valenzuela, Denver Lopez, Omanzi Rodriguez, Lordi Tugade, and Rico Villanueva.
That's going to be another turnover for Red Bull as, what would you call that, stepping out of bounds and stepping back in again by Junti?
Illegal entry, I suppose.
Illegal entry.
The PhonePals start the third quarter with Jimmy, the Mighty Mouse, Alapag, Patrick Fran, Yancy De Ocampo, who had 16 points in the first half, Allan, and Bong Ravena. And De Ocampo is not finished. He has 18.
Well, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And once again, no commitment from Red Bull to come down and help against Yancy. They probably are in disbelief that Yancy is scoring at will.
And this is now an 18-point lead for the PhonePals. Ito na ang kanilang pinakamalaking lamang sa ating ball game. Here's Alapag. Again, they go to De Ocampo. Cross court, Ravena. Allan misses the turn around. Rebound para kay Tugade. Two-man game coming up here. So the pass ends up with Villanueva, and he's fouled.
Well, the man of Enrico had to step over and help that time because the Talking Tech team, they trapped the pick and roll. So in the rotation, that left Enrico open underneath the basket. Once again, I want all the fans out there who are watching this game to really notice the spacing of the Talking Tech team offensively. It's one of the reasons why it's very difficult to help defensively. At least you have to really commit yourself and leave somebody open.
And you know, Talking Tech is dominating this game, despite the fact that Miller is struggling in this ball game. Miller scoreless tonight, and it has gone 0 out of 6 from the field.
Well, this game has belonged to the two big guys, Allan and Yancy De Ocampo.
Here's Lopez. Hand off for Valenzuela. Valenzuela on the move. Ball is with Villanueva. 6 to shoot for Red Bull. Tugade fires a 3. And it's Bong Ravena who grabs the rebound. Ravena with 5 rebounds in the game. So itong Talking Tech, nagtatangkang kumuha ng isang 20-point lead dito sa second half. Yun na nga, ang ginawa ni Mark Clemens Allan.
Red Bull will also have to work on their pick and roll defense as a little bit of confusion there, leaving Allan wide open for that shot. Nobody within 3 or 4 feet of him.
And Allan now with 13 points in the game. 20 puntos na ang abante ng Talking Tech. Valenzuela slices through, hands off for Tugade.
Jimmy Alapag pushes that basketball up the court.
Soft touch by Telan. Too soft. At pinagabangga doon si Tugade. That's a clear foul laban kay Telan.
And watch Yancy Del Campo and Enrico. Something's going to happen here real soon. Those were not love taps they were throwing that last time out. You can see the referee. Well, you can't see it on your screen, but the referees are talking to the two of them.
Well, one must understand. Eh, kanina pa kasi nakakapuntos itong si Yancy Del Campo against every big man assigned on him. Sese, Agapito, now Villanueva. So the Red Bull big men must be getting frustrated at this point. Here's Tugade, guarded by Fran. Mas mataka dito si Tugade, pinasa kay Rodriguez. Baseline jumper is good.
A good player movement that time, good ball movement by the Red Bull team. They're running a screen and screener offense.
16 points pa rin ang lamang ng talk and text. Alapag trying to drive through.
Marunong talaga si Jimmy Alapag, as when he heard the whistle, just threw the basketball up there. He's going to get 2 shots out of this.
Denver Lopez is trying to make a case that no, he committed the foul much earlier.
Probably see Coach Yengao. Layo. You can hear that all over the arena.
And you know, Coach Yang, when he wants to send a message across, everyone will hear it. Even our televiewers will hear it.
We'll hear it, huh?
Jimmy Alapag. Played in the recent All-Star game. Pablo is back in action, as well as the struggling Willie Miller.
Well, if he's going to struggle, this is a good night to struggle because his teammates have certainly picked up the slack for him.
At balik sa 18 ang abante ng talk and text. Red Bull has Lopez, Tugade, Rodriguez, Villanueva, and Valenzuela on the hard court. And this crew is trying to bring Red Bull back in the game with 8:36 to go in the third quarter. Valenzuela going baseline. Tumulong si Pablo. And Valenzuela stepped on the line, chalk up another turnover laban sa Red Bull.
What's happening out here is the guy guarding Omanzi is Victor Pablo. Victor Pablo is just leaving Omanzi and just helping defensively. That means that Omanzi is either going to have to make them pay, or Coach Yengao could have to try to find somebody who can put an offensive threat on the floor. And Jimmy Alapag. High pick and roll once again, Nico.
It's Villanueva. He won't score. A sorry miss, but Tugade is... Oh, no! That's hurt. You're trying to get back in the game and you get easy looks. And your opponent almost scoring on an exciting alley-oop play. Meantime, here's Lopez. Tugade left open, wide open, and he can't connect. And now Alapag wants to push the ball. Alapag to Miller. 0 out of 6 from the field. Alapag. Ravena for 3. No. 21 points. Yan po ang lamang ng talk and text. This is their biggest lead of the ball game.
So you know what Yengao is asking for right now. He's asking that shot to be counted. But the referees do not agree. Tit for tat.
Let's watch it again.
Well, because of the last play with Jimmy Alapag, Coach Yengao thinks that this should be continuation.
So that will be the first personal against Alapag, 13 foul against talk and text.
And if you were to call the game consistently, maybe it should have been. But there were 2 different referees that made the call. So.
Red Bull has only scored 4 points in this third quarter. Not really making any headway. At sa katunayan lalo pang lumaki itong kalamangan ng talk and text. Only good thing going for Red Bull is that Miller has yet to get this game going. Pero napasa niya sa loob kay Bong Ravena.
That will not make Coach Shangal happy. 3 red shirts in the paint there that time, but they could not get the defensive rebound. Instead, it was Victor Pablo who grabbed the offensive rebound.
23 puntos na po ang abante ng Tokentex. Talagang tuluyan na silang lumalayo. And what is making things worse for Red Bull is that they're missing from point-blank range. Tugade, no. Villanueva, wala pa rin. And it ends up with Yancy De Ocampo. Those misses are going to make a tired team even more tired.
And you know, Yancy De Ocampo is playing a one-man defense in the middle, but let's face it, the Red Bull players are not taking their time. They're taking quick shots around the basket. That's why they're missing. A foul, yeah.
Tough shot by Pablo. Rodriguez was all over him. Pangalawang personal para kay Omansi Rodriguez. At yan po ang pangalawang team foul laban sa Red Bull Barako.
So actually, when you look at the defensive talking text right now, Mark Allan sitting on the bench, so Yancy De Ocampo is really the only big man out there with Victor Pablo standing about 6'3". There's no reason to rush your shots. You might as well just take your time and go strong to the basket.
Bernardo is in the game. Si Villanueva ay uupo muna after missing some point-blank attempts.
You have to wonder, Miko, about the fact that Red Bull just played a game 2 days ago. They beat the Shell team, and could that have taken something out of it?
But, you know, in retrospect, Tokentex just came from Ormoc.
That's right. They just played out of town last Tuesday, so how do you explain it?
In that respect, lamang pa nga yung Red Bull dapat nun.
They had to travel also.
You know, they had to play a FedEx team that loves to run.
Well, FedEx did not fare too well earlier today. They got into another running game with Santa Lucia and came out on the losing end. Are you telling me Ali Peak only weighs 240 pounds?
Maybe this was 3 years ago.
Give him at least 5 more pounds over top of that. Okay.
Finally, nakapuntos din si Willie Miller after missing his first 7 attempts in the game. And this is bad news for Red Bull.
Willie Miller, the number 3 scorer in the PBA, averaging over 18 points a game.
And Red Bull continues to miss. They normally shoot well from the field, especially when you look at their field goal numbers in the conference.
Actually, the two teams are almost even as far as field goal percentages are concerned. What a big discrepancy there. Talking Tech with 50 points from their starters.
67-44, Tokentex po ang lamang na lamang dito sa third quarter. Under 5 minutes to go in the period. Bola na kay Pablo. He lost that ball. It was batted away. At itong Red Bull, naghahanap ng paraan kung paano makakabalik sa ating ball game. Torion takes the 3. And their shooting woes continue dito sa Cuneta Astrodome.
And this might be the time that Red Bull might want to attack the basket, considering that Mark Allan and Yancy De Ocampo are sitting on the bench. When you think about it also, if there's one team that can stop Willie Miller, probably Red Bull. Players know him quite well.
Well, Red Bull trying to make headway here. In a quarter dominated so far by Tokentex. Pablo shooting over Bernardo. Sumobra. Torion. Now he's going to wait for teammates here. Matched up against Belano. Goes to Valenzuela. Shoots over Miller. And that still won't work. Boy, Tokentex is looking good in this game. Going back to that report by Peter Martin at the top of the coverage, when he asked Ariel Vanguardia why they keep on winning despite missing Asita Olava. And going back to what Ariel Vanguardia said, that maybe other teams haven't figured them out. I mean, haven't figured out.
Like I said earlier, I can't agree with that because they're playing basketball. So if you know the game, you see what they're doing, but they're just doing it very well.
So what are they doing?
Well, right now they have a lot of confidence. I mean, they're playing good defense. They're forcing you into turnovers. They're turning those turnovers into turnover points. Their spacing is good offensively. Their two big guys have been scoring at will inside the paint. Red Bull has not committed to double teaming, at least not in the first half. And did Yancey open shots one-on-one against Agapito. He's probably going to have some success. That's been the case tonight, Nico.
Probably in this game you have a case of the Red Bull going headstrong, head first into a team that can really take advantage of their weaknesses.
That's correct. And if you look at the Talking Tech team, one of their reasons for success is the fact that they play both ends of the floor. A good block there by Omanzi. They play both ends of the floor. They're not only one of the top offensive teams in the league, but they also will defend you.
Yan ang starting ball game ngayon. He has yet to score since the first quarter. Gade with the rebound. Layo-layo pa itong hahabulin ng Red Bull Barako. Bola na kay Torion up against Belano. We're fast approaching the last 2 minutes of the third quarter. Torion pushing off Belano. And the ball's being battered around. It ends up with Bernardo. He gets blocked by Camacho. Bola na kay Ravena. Back pass for Miller. And Miller scoots in for the slam dunk.
A gentle slam dunk by Willie Miller. Nice pass coming from Bong Ravena.
21 puntos ang kalabangan ng Talking Tech PhonePals. They're looking for victory number 8 dito sa Philippine Cup. And nothing is going right for Red Bull. Pablo stops. Belano. And Belano will set it up. Camacho takes the 3. Off bounds. Minute and 22 to go in the third. It has, nothing has gotten here.
Fouled by your own man.
Baguio banging into Bernardo. Bernardo should have been called for a foul against his own teammate. Miller. And this time Baguio commits the foul. That's when you know nothing is going right. When you collide into your own teammate, who's twice your size.
Well, first of all, Baguio should have seen that he was standing right there in front of him, but he hit a brick wall that time. Just happened to be his own teammate.
Funny to mention that they're both from USC. The one growling tiger banging into another growling tiger. Problem is they're all playing for the same team in the PBA. Bernardo tatawagan ng foul his third.
Kanina, I was reading in the Gario comments of Coach Joel Banal. He was saying that he really wants to use as many players as possible because he knows the elimination round is a long haul, it's a long round. So, what a shot by Marcelo. And he can really sit on air, huh? Hesitate in the air for a second to get those shots off. Coach Joel Banal was saying that he really wants to use a lot of players to make sure down the stretch all of his players have confidence and they have fresh legs.
Well, mainly because Talking Tech's game plan relies that they utilize a lot of players.
Yes, they do like a fast-paced game. They like to run on every opportunity, so you really need to use at least 10 players to keep your guys fresh.
And a good thing about Talking Tech, a lot of the players that Joel Banal has fielded in have already scored.
Well, just the fact that Del Campo is sitting on the bench right now, you can see a lot of guys have contributed.
Baguio a bit out of control. Ball ends up with Torion. Eto na si Tugade. Pumihit. Top shot by Tugade. Talo na ng mga tao. Tugade, one more try. Wala pa rin. That is indicative of the kind of third quarter that Red Bull has had.
What was Jerry West's number? You should have said Dr. J.
Famous Denver.
Jerry West.
Famous Denver Lopez. I'm not going to say it. I promise not to say the figure.
We'll just leave it at that.
Jersey number 44.
Oh, number 44, okay. I'll never confirm. I'm sure everybody knows my age anyway. I've been here for the last 25 years, I think.
You better admit it, Coach Norman. Otherwise, I'm going to say David Robinson.
How do you know all the numbers of all these players?
The big 5-0.
No. Malayo pa, pare.
Mapapaamin ko I have a pretty good idea of what the figure is. I'll do that later. Here's Torion, matched up against Belano.
What you should know, because I came to the Philippines straight out of high school.
You don't have to be defensive. I'm not trying to make you sound old.
Okay, let's see if Red Bull can make a dent into this lead of Talking Texas. Talking Texas has been trying to isolate Willie Miller for the last 5 or 6 plays.
Kanina pa natutulog yung offense ni Willie Miller, and now nagising na si Willie Thriller Miller at dinadagdagan lang ang mga sakit ng ulo ng Red Bull Barako. Torion zigzagging over to Bernardo, fall away, kapos. And Allan has been getting those rebounds. Mark Allan with 6 rebounds tonight. Camaso lost the ball, was batted out away by Bernardo. Allan no good. Camaso got the rebound.
Boy, tough night for the Red Bull team.
Tough night indeed. Camaso fires over Rodriguez. That's not easy to do. But another chance here for the Talking Tex PhonePals. Sobra yung tira ni Miller. And another opportunity here for the PhonePals. Very frustrating if you're Red Bull.
Especially if you're Coach Yengao.
Allan was right. Bangs into Robinson. And finally Red Bull gets a break here. Tatawagan ng offensive foul si Mark Allan. Yan ang pang-apat laban kay Mark Allan. 10 minutes to go in the game. 10 minutes for Red Bull to try and inch in and claw their way back in this contest. They entered the ball game with 3 wins and 5 losses. They were hoping to score a second consecutive win after winning over Shell in their last game. But they really banged into a brick wall here inside the Cuneta Astrodome.
Excuse me, Miko. What Talking Tex has done in this game is really taken Red Bull a little bit out of their offense, particularly with the high pick and rolls. You can see the guards of Talking Tex are really forcing the guards. You can see it right there. Patrick Friend not wanting Baguio to go over that screen. Good penetration.
First 2 points para kay Oliver Agapito. So malaki pa rin itong labang ng Talking Tex, 77-56, with still over 9 minutes to go in the ballgame.
Topex Robinson just too small to guard Willie Miller.
You know, you watch Talking Tex, the way they move on the half-court step, you just have to get the feeling that people are in the right place.
Well, not just that, Nico, but it's also the fact that, let's face it, they've gone to the matchups the entire night. First, it was the first half, it was Bill Campo who was matched up against Agapito. They kept going to that. Now they have Topex Robinson versus Willie Miller.
Fourth personal, laban kay Willie Miller. So may apat na personal fouls na po. Si Mark Allan, Victor Pablo, Willie Miller. Alapag is back in the game. Pinilitan si Miller, who is now in foul trouble. Rodriguez inside, and he scores over Yancy De Ocampo. They used to play together with the FedEx Express. De Ocampo. Alapag, back to De Ocampo. Turn around, high off the glass. Voila. Once again, the PhonePals will keep the ball.
Well, they're much quicker to cover the basketball. Solano misses that outside shot.
Torion trying to go all the way. Baguio hoping to snatch that offensive rebound, but Garchi Ferrer spots something amiss under the basket. Si Belano tatawagan ng foul, his third personal.
Well, you mentioned at the beginning of the telecast that Talking Tech, they're at the top of the heap with a 7-1 record. Of course, Red Bull down a little bit further at 3-5. With Santa Lucia winning the first game, Nico, that really tightens things up, particularly at the bottom of the pack. Pass.
Robinson scores his first 2 points of the game. He had 15 points off the bench in that win over Shell, but things haven't gone Red Bull's way tonight. You know, earlier I mentioned that Yancy and Omanzi played together. Hindi pala, no? Hindi na sila nagkaabutan sa FedEx. By the time Omanzi joined FedEx, Yancy was already with Talking Tech. Here's a PhonePals fast break, broken up by the Red Bull defense. But somehow, Belano got the ball. At nabuo rin yung fast break.
Thanks to Jimmy Alapag, who just tapped that basketball out of the air to save possession for Talking Tech.
Under 8 minutes to go in a game dominated by Talking Tech from the get-go. And Agapito with 4 points tonight.
That was one of the few times Talking Tech was able to force the ball baseline, and they had 4 rotation on the weak side. That's why Agapito got free for that layup. Boy, even when they double team, they don't feel well, and they allow Del Campo to step through. It looks like Del Campo definitely took his vitamins this morning. Been a great game for him. 21 points in the game so far. Make that 22.
That's a new conference high for Yancy Del Campo. His previous conference high was 16 points. Baguio. Agapito.
Well, he had an open shot. He decided to drive in and got blocked by Del Campo. 2 seconds left.
Here's Miller. 2-on-1. Miller. Alapag and wait for teammates. One thing that has abandoned Red Bull in this game has been their rebounding.
Well, they came into this game number 1 in the league, but let's face it, the entire game has been dominated by Talking Tech.
How many times have we seen Talking Tech get at least 2 chances at the basket for a single trip on their offensive end on the court? Totally explains why itong PhonePals ay tuluyan na lumayo dito sa second half. Bola na kay Del Campo, who has been the unstoppable force for the PhonePals. In the meantime, Topix Robinson bumabayaan na ni Willie Miller, and Robinson gets his 4th point on the ball game. The next opponent for Talking Tech will be Alaska, at sila po'y mag-aarap sa Cebu sa susunod na Huwebes sa pagpapatuloy ng PBA Roadshow game. Alapag inside, naagaw ng Red Bull. Baguio, agad binigay kay Robinson, agad binalik kay Baguio for the layup.
15-point game.
So let's see if Red Bull can make this game interesting with 5:32 to go. 5:29 to go in the ball game. It has been all Talking Tech in this matchup. PhonePals have Alapag, Salangsang, Miller, Del Campo, and Rano on the hard court. That will be a foul laban kay Agapito.
And that once again will give Willie Miller a chance to get into double figures. He does have 9 points in the game. He missed his last 2 foul shots out of sync. Got a 3 for 14. He was our best player last Wednesday in the game against Shell. Enrico 4 for 14. Sa talagang percentages.
Nabanggit nga natin kanina, Red Bull normally shoots well compared to the other teams. They're in the upper bracket as far as field goal shooting is concerned, but definitely not tonight. Score natin 84-68. We're approaching the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. Bola na kay Torion. Nasa kay Robinson, and here's Agapito with that familiar pull-up. At si Agapito, meron na pong 6 points. 14 ang lamang ng talk and text. Naping Infra ng bola again. Second chances here for the PhonePals.
This type of win for Talking Tex is nothing unusual. They average beating their opponents by at least 8 points per game, which is a pretty large margin.
Nice fake by Salangsang. Miller lost the ball, recovers. Fourth to shoot. Miller. What is he doing? Goes to shoot. He gets smothered. Naubusan na sa wakas ng oras.
And that's the shot Talking Tex is going to give you if they force the ball baseline once again, and the result is an easy layup for Jimmy Alapag.
Alapag with 13 points, and it's back to a 16-point lead for the PhonePals. Delano helps up Topex Robinson.
You know, outside of this Talking Tex team, Nico, all the other teams have had their ups and downs. Even the Turbochargers have lost a couple of games of late. But Talking Tex has been rolling along.
When you look at the team standings, Shell and Ginebra are tied for second place, but Shell is on a 2-game losing skid. Ginebra is really looking good with that 3-game winning streak.
That's right, they're on an upturn right now. They had their downturn at the beginning of the conference.
But I can tell you right now, and I know Richard Del Rosario will agree, we covered that game last night, San Miguel against Pure Foods, and Richard Del Rosario said it correctly. Teams better watch out for San Miguel, especially now that they're all healthy.
Well, to put it in plain talk, Danny Siegel's back. And he's playing small forward. He stands about 6'6", and he can shoot from the outside and get to the basket, so he makes them a really tough team to beat.
And teams like Talking Tex as Alapag, will they count it? Yes, they count it. You know, teams like Talking Tex, Shell, Ginebra.
Well, one of the two things that, or one thing that Ginebra and San Miguel have going for them, they have the size. I mean, they can put big guys, quality big guys, on the court all at the same time. Last game, San Miguel started Nick Velasco, they started Danny Siegel and Danny Adefonso, and they came off the bench with Dorian Pena. Not to mention you have Gamboa sitting on the bench over there, so even Gahol. So they have an assortment of big guys, and Ginebra can do the same thing, particularly when Andy Siegel is healthy. There's even rumors that the Ginebra team are getting James Walkless in shape to try to bring him back. That would be another 6'8" player.
3:12 to go in the ball game. At mukhang itong Talking Tex patuloy ng matatamo ang kanilang ika-8 panalo dito sa Gran-Matador Brandy PBA Philippine Cup.
And you may ask the question, what's going to happen to Talking Tex when they go up against these teams? But the thing you have to understand about Talking Tex, their real strength is their backcourt. I mean, you just don't get much quicker than Jimmy Alapag and Willie Miller. Not only are they quick, they're also strong and athletic.
Si Baguio ang tinawagan ng foul. Panglima ni Cyrus Baguio.
And we may be using a little bit of time here to talk about what's happening in the PBA, but this game might be over already. Talking Tex up 19 with Jimmy Alapag on the line for 2 shots.
Well, you did mention the awesome firepower generated by the backcourt of Joel Banan. But there is a nagging question with regards to their front line. And I asked assistant coach Eric Del Rosario earlier if they were shopping around for a big man. And he said that they just couldn't find it. I mean, of course they're looking around, but they just can't find anyone they want.
So they can try to ask Villiers to come back wherever he went. I mean, he wasn't a bad player, and he is a big body. Of course, Javi Carey is still out with an injury. But that would be my concern. Can Salangsang and Camaso really step in and get the job done? Because we know the starting three are quality players. I mean, they're pretty good players. Del Campo, Allan, and Victor Pablo.
Because Talking Tex is winning convincingly now, but they're doing it against a team which in all essence is fielding an undermanned front line.
Yes, that's right. Well, both of these teams actually were affected by the Phil-Am situation.
Well, since you brought that up, let me ask this question. Have the teams, have we seen the total effect of the departure of those said Phil-Am?
Well, you could say that it really has hurt the Red Bull team a lot more than it's hurt the Talking Tex team. Of course, Talking Tex will say, what do you mean? I mean, this guy was the MVP of the league last year, Aki Salaba. He was the leading scorer and leading rebounder. So obviously their players have adjusted a lot quicker. But let's face it, Talking Tex had more quality big men sitting on the bench than the Red Bull team did. And remember the trade that Red Bull made. They lost Homer Say for Verhel Meneses. And right now, Verhel Meneses is a very good player, but Red Bull is short one big guy at this moment.
The last 2 minutes is brought to you by Hope, the luxury cigarette. Nice move by Mark Allan, certainly a leading candidate for best player in the game. He has 17. Kung babalikan po natin ng tinakbo ng ating laro, masasabi po natin hindi na po nakaforma itong Red Bull Barako laban sa Talking Tex PhonePals. You know, the minute Talking Tex, the minute they went to Yassi Del Campo, kept giving him the ball in the second quarter. Talking Tex surged ahead, and they never looked back.
And Red Bull committed a lot of turnovers, which really led to a lot of points for the Talking Tex team. You know, both of these teams came into the league, came into this game, averaging 5 players in double figures. But it has been the starters for the Talking Tex team that have really excelled in this game.
Jonathan De Guzman, kakapasok lang sa ating game. In fact, kababalik lang ni De Guzman sa lineup ng PhonePals. He was called for that foul, and that will send Jimwell Torion to the line.
Well, actually, it's only Victor Pablo who has not scored in double figures for the starters for Talking Tex. He has 5 points. But Jimmy Alapag has 18. Willie Miller has 10. Mark Talon has 17. And Joe Campo has 22. On the other side, it's been a long night as only 3 players are in double figures for the Red Bull team.
And most of those points came way back in the first half.
Particularly for Enrico, he only has 10 points in the game, 8 coming in the first half.
First quarter, to be more specific. It's been that kind of night for the big guns of Red Bull. They have been held silent dito sa Cuneta Astrodome.
And we mentioned Victor Pablo only has 5 points in the game, but that was the 12th point of Dombel Bolano.
Well, Red Bull won over Shell in their last game. Now it's back to the drawing board for the Red Bull coaching staff.
So you have 18 games in the elimination round, so you're going to have days where you have to play back-to-back. And you have to be physically ready for that.
De Guzman, open 3. No go. Only 41 seconds before Talking Tex chalks up their 8th victory. You know, looking at Red Bull, which will drop this game, and they will drop 3 and 6 in the team standings. Medyo nakakagirian pa si Belano at si Jimwell Torion. The words being changed in the remaining moments of this game. You know what? The one thing that drives coaching staff crazy, correct me if I'm wrong, when you win and then you lose, you win and then you lose. Because it's so hard to tell what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. Because you can't sustain anything.
That's correct. And like you said, it's back to the drawing board for Coach Yangao, who was probably ecstatic getting out of the Araneta Coliseum the other day with a victory over Shell. And 2 days later, gets hammered by the Talking Tex team. But tonight, I mean, you can pretty much figure out what the problem is with Red Bull. They have to play more pressure defense, considering their guards are so quick. They're going to have to put more pressure on the basketball, and they're going to have to turn it over less on the other end.
Their weakness is really fighting them back in this game. And fighting back in a big way. Their penchant for letting opponents score too many points.
Well, I'd say they need to pressure the basketball more, because that way you'll run more time off the clock and give the other team less time to really hammer you inside, the way Talking Tex did tonight.
So 1 second to go. Intention tira ni Torion. At dyan magtatapos ang ating ball game. Joel Banal in a Talking Tex.